Alright, no weird intro this time. Sorry, I'm sure a lot of you are thankful for that. So, I just got back from the World Yo-Yo Contest. It was amazing, okay? If you ever have the chance to go, you seriously should consider going, okay? Watching the freestyles on YouTube and watching them in person are two completely different things that I can't even begin to describe. The energy level that you get when you watch like the actual freestyles yourself, especially in like semifinals and finals, it's undescribable. It's amazing. Me and my friends, we were just screaming the entire time during finals. It was amazing. I personally was not happy at all with how the results came out for the 1A finals. I know a lot of people also weren't happy with it. I'm not gonna say who won or who didn't or anything, just so I don't spoil it for you guys who haven't seen it yet. But the important thing to remember about the World Yo-Yo Contest is that the competition is just a tiny part of the actual experience, okay? If you're going to the World Yo-Yo Contest mainly to compete, and that decides whether your trip was a good one or a bad one, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, okay? I didn't even make it past wildcard. I didn't think I was gonna make it past wildcard. They had about 120 people competing in wildcard. I came out at 60, which, considering it was my first Worlds and I didn't know how anything worked or anything, I'm fairly happy with that, actually. And I also messed up one time in the end. My freestyle for wildcard was pretty flawless, except for the last part. I got a knot in the middle of the string, and it wasn't a slip knot, so I couldn't just pull it out, so I had to stop and look at it for a minute. It was like literally the last 5 seconds, so I literally just binded the yo-yo back with the knot in the string. That's probably why I didn't place higher, but I personally was happy with that. Making it at 60, I was very happy with that. I ended up doing better than 50% of the people who did wildcard, so I was very happy with that. What the World Yo-Yo Contest is all about, it's not just about the competing. If any of you are watching this who actually did compete in wildcard or prelim or anything like that but didn't make it as high up as you wished, this is more aimed towards you guys. It's not just about the competition, okay? The competition is a very small amount of it. What it really is about, it's about meeting all these amazing people. It's about experiencing this environment that's just filled with just so much talent and skill, and just getting to interact with all these amazing people and getting to buy a bunch of new yo-yos, you know, getting to make tons of new friends. Personally, I would say watching the actual freestyles was more fun than it was actually competing. I know a lot of you may not agree with that, but watching the freestyles was a blast. It was so much fun. I mean, you just get so energized when you're watching these people compete because some of these people are so amazingly good. It's such a great experience, and don't be bummed out if you don't make it too far. It's not a big deal. But yeah, aside from that, I said buying a bunch of yo-yos was part of the thing that you should do, and I did exactly that. I bought a bunch of new yo-yos. Okay, let's see. This is 3 of them, and then this last one is the one I'm going to be reviewing today. This is the Clyw / Yoyofactory Jackknife. I don't have the box for it, unfortunately, but what I can tell you about the box is that it's not like a Clyw box. It's like this. It's actually not like that at all. It's actually a Yoyofactory box, but it has this kind of cardboard material. It's like a mixture between a Yoyofactory box and a Clyw box. So basically think of it as a Yoyofactory box, but with the materials and style of a Clyw box. But the box isn't what matters, okay? This is what matters, okay? This is the yo-yo. So, a bit of history about this yo-yo and the whole project that went into making this and other yo-yos. Yoyofactory and Clyw, they had this thing called Basecamp. So basically, Basecamp was a project between Yoyofactory and Clyw, which is a fairly surprising collaboration, at least to me. I was never expecting them to make a collaboration with anything, but they did, so it's really cool. They came out with 3 different yo-yos. One is the Jackknife. This is the Jackknife. The other one is called the Moonshine, which is basically a really thin and classic looking yo-yo. And the last one was the Expedition, which is another competition throw. that's basically what the Basecamp project was. They also made a bunch of merchandise and things like that. They didn't just make yo-yos. It's a cool little project they're making, and I hope they come out with more. I guess we're gonna focus on the Jackknife. This is a really cool yo-yo. We're selling them at Worlds for $75, okay? That's really surprising. COYWs usually are pretty expensive. The reason why this is so inexpensive probably is because it's made in China. Anything that's made in China typically is cheaper by price. Yeah, $75, all three of them are pretty inexpensive. They had a couple different colors. I got the blue version. Well, funny thing, I actually got the silver version, but one very unique feature about the Jackknife is that it has this little indent here, and you can finger spin on it for minutes on end. It's crazy. You can do finger spins on this thing for as long as you want, almost. That's one of the really cool features about this. I got the silver version, and it couldn't really... I don't know if this is true for every silver version one. The one that I had, it wouldn't finger spin anywhere near as well as the blue one would, or, you know, the other anodized ones. When I would finger spin on it, it wouldn't just stay in one place, it would sort of jump around a lot sometimes. You know, you wouldn't be able to finger spin as long with it. So I actually traded it out for a blue one. They actually let me do that, which I was very happy about. The blue one and probably the other anodized versions can finger spin for, literally, I'm not kidding, it can finger spin for minutes. It's crazy. Anyway, I'll go ahead and give you the specs on this yo-yo. The width is 44.43 millimeters. It's a pretty good average width. Nothing too wide, nothing too thin. Pretty good. The diameter is 56.45 millimeters. Once again, pretty average, pretty good, you know. The weight is 64.8 grams. The weight is also, you know, right in the middle there, so it's not too heavy, not too light. Once again, very good. And one thing about the response, you don't get COYW snow tires. Instead, you get Yoyofactory slim pads, and it comes stock with a center track bearing and an 8mm axle, which is a shorter axle. First thing I noticed when I threw this down was how fast it was. I don't know if any of you other people that have played this will disagree with me when I say this, but this yo-yo is super fast and maneuverable. This thing is super maneuverable, and I love it. That's one of my favorite traits to have in a yo-yo, that it's very easy to maneuver and it doesn't feel like a rock at the end of the string. I love that. Now, I'm not quite sure what finish they put on this. I'm not sure if they put the COYW Grumble finish on this, or if they put a Yoyofactory finish on this. Based on me looking at it personally, it looks more like a Yoyofactory finish than a COYW. I might be wrong, don't take my word for it, but either way, it's really smooth and you can grind with it for pretty long periods of time. How long that finish will last, I'm not sure. One thing I noticed about the inside is that it's more of a Yoyofactory kind of vibe, and then when you turn it to the width portion, it's more of like a COYW kind of vibe. That's just me. I don't know if you think the same thing or not, but it kind of looks like they were mixing the inner faces of the horizon and the shutter to me on the inside of this yo-yo. It has a very curved in lip like the shutter, and it also has, you know, this small catch zone area like the shutter, but the inside of this is very, very cup-like, similar to the horizon. That's kind of the vibe that I'm picking up from this. And on this side, it looks a little bit more COYW-esque, so a yo-yo that I could compare this to, I don't want to say that the width is similar to that of an Arctic Circle, because it's not exactly... Oh, actually, I know what yo-yo this kind of looks like on the width side. It kind of looks like a Yeti almost. It's nowhere near as big as a Yeti, obviously, but if you put the two of them next to each other, the width portions of them, they look pretty similar, actually. They kind of had the same kind of design. Yeah, it's kind of like they took a Yeti for the width, and they took a Yoyofactory horizon and shutter, and then they combined them in the cup face of it. That's just what it looks like to me. You may have a total different, you know, standpoint on it, and that's perfectly fine. That's just what it looks like to me, really. They also have a laser engraving here that says Basecamp on it, as you can see right there. It's pretty cool. There's only one other laser engraving on it, and that's, you can't really see that very well, but it says COYW times Yoyofactory made in China. Okay, that's what it says. One interesting thing about this area right here is that it curves in a lot, and I got to meet Riccardo Fraellini He's like my favorite trick innovator ever. He's an awesome guy. Someone actually told me that him being the wizard he is, he actually took a string and put it on that portion of it and did a trick with it. I'm gonna see if I can just sort of, show you what I'm talking about. So he basically, and this is just what someone said, so I don't know, but this would be really cool if it worked. So basically, someone said that he put it around it like that, and then did a trick with it, and like wrapped it up and stuff. I guess, like this maybe, and then just wrapped it up normally after that, I guess. I don't know how this would work. I'm just gonna try it out here and see what happens, because, whatever, let's just see what happens. I'm probably gonna totally ruin my yo-yo. Right, are you ready for this? Alright, let's see if I totally ruin my yo-yo here. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm by no means Ricardo Freilini. But yeah, apparently he did something like that. I don't know if that's an actual thing, whether you can actually do that or not, but that would be pretty cool. But this is basically good for any kinds of tricks you can throw at it. You can do slacks just fine with it. Speed, it's very good for speed because of how fast and floaty it is. Horizontal, you can do horizontal just fine with this. It's not too hard. Injections are just fine with it. This has a pretty low wall, but it pushes out just a little bit, so that gives you more material for the string to be jammed into, which makes injections better automatically. It seems to me that yo-yos that have a higher wall typically are just better for injections. That's just what I've observed. So basically any yo-yo that just has more material towards the gap of it, it usually makes them better for rejections because it's more chances for friction to catch and for it to shoot the string out. But yeah, technical kind of stuff. I mean, just like any other yo-yo I review, it's fine for everything. The rim lip right here makes it very good for thumb grinds. So you can get your thumb right up in there and you can do thumb grinds for, however long you want to. Some people may think that this little thing gets in the way of thumb grinds sometimes. Personally, I don't think it does. Now when it comes to horizontal finger grinds, it can be a little bit more tricky to do with this because it's, a limited catch space. So you have to be more accurate with it, and if you land it out of that catch space, it's just going to spin out of control and you're not going to land it. So you got to be a little bit more accurate with it if you want to land finger spins, which is fine, because once you do land them, you can do them forever. What's awesome about this is that this allows you to do very unique kinds of tricks like this. Go ahead and check this out. One thing people might think that you can do with this, because it has this little, indent thing, is that you can actually grab it like this while it's spinning. I've tried that and it just spun out on me. It didn't actually work. That's one thing that you can't really do with this that I've found. But then again, you can horizontal finger spin with it for forever. So one thing to keep in mind with the bearing that this comes with, the one I have in it right now, this actually isn't the bearing it comes with. When I bought it, the bearing it came with, it sort of jammed up on me and it became responsive. Just, keep that in mind, that that's a possibility. Technically, that can happen with any yo-yo you buy. Just, keep that in mind. But yeah, this thing's dead smooth on the string. It has no vibe whatsoever. If you like Clyw and Yoyofactory, or if you like one or the other, and you want a yo-yo that can do very unique tricks and that you can have a lot of fun with, and can handle basically anything you want to throw at it, this is a great choice. And if you want one that's a budget yo-yo, this is actually fairly cheap compared to other Clyw/Yoyo factories. I don't know about Yoyo Factory, but Clyw, their yo-yos, at least their metals, typically are very high up, like $150 to $160. Well, this one is actually $75. That's pretty good. Yoyo Factory has a bunch of budget metals, but if you want a yo-yo that's kind of has a Caribou Lodge vibe kind of to it and also is very inexpensive, this is a very good yo-yo to choose. It also, of course, always has the finger spin ability, which is amazing. That's what made me pick this other than the Expedition, because the Expedition is another completely competition yo-yo just like this, I tried an Expedition and it's very good. I really liked it, but the fact that this could do, you know, the finger spin thing, that's what made me want to buy this more than the Expeditions. Now this is just, you know, a solid blue colorway. This isn't anything, you know, fancy like this or anything like that, but I'm sure they're gonna release this to retailers with a bunch of other cool colorways for you to choose from. So yeah, the overall shape is a little bit more rounded off than some yo-yos I've felt, so it's a lot more comfortable in your hand. So that's the Yoyofactory / COIW Jackknife. Very, very good yo-yo for $75. Very good yo-yo in general. If you want a very good budget metal yo-yo that has two very high up there companies imprinted on it, then I say go for the Jackknife. Keep an eye out on Yo-Yo Expert and places like that, and of course eBay. I'm sure some people are selling theirs on eBay. You probably will get a chance to buy one fairly soon. Check out the Basecamp project between Yoyofactory and COIW. They're coming out with some great stuff. Hopefully there's more to come. Alright, hope you guys enjoy the video, and have a nice day.